Okay, everybody, I'm back for take 2. And I hope I have the orientation right this time. The first time it was the wrong way, even though I thought I had done it right. So I'm just looking to see now if I have it the right way. If you're watching, say hello, let me know if you see it the right way. Oh, there it is. It's facing the right way this time. Oh, I'll give everybody a couple minutes to hop on. I'm going to show you a quick Father's Day card tonight. And I'm just checking a few things out here, just technology-wise. There we go. All right, so again, if you're watching, say hello. If you're gonna watch on the replay, just let me know you watched later. And I'm gonna jump in and I'm just gonna show you how to make this really pretty Father's Day card. I will say that it was inspired by something I saw on Pinterest, but apparently I did not save it when I looked at it on Pinterest, so I do not have the person to credit. I want to say her name was Tammy, but that's, going from my memory, and I made this a few days ago. So we're going to make this Father's Day card, and we are using the Family Ties stamp set. This is great for Mother's Day and Father's Day cards. This is what I used the other day when I made the Mother's Day card for you live. We are also using the Petals of Beauty Dies, and we are actually just using this leaf die is what we're going to use to add a little interest on the front of this card. The designer paper that we are using is from one of our product of the months, and it is called Painted Illusions 12 by 12. This is one of those items that if you place a $75 order, you can add this whole pack of designer paper for only $5 more. And most of our designer paper starts at $12.50, so that's quite a good deal. We are also going to use one of the dies from one of my favorite die sets, which is the Stylish Shaped dies, which are these. We're going to use this large banner piece. So excited because I've had a sneak peek at the new catalog, and these are in the new catalog, so they're sticking around. Very excited about that. We're going to do some heat embossing. So there's a lot going on with this card, but it's still really, really simple. It's probably kind of hard to see. This piece of Granny Apple Green cardstock here is actually embossed, but it's probably really hard to see that. Here I've already embossed the piece that goes on my card, and again it's just really hard to see that. But I used the exposed brick embossing folder for that piece of the card. So I'm going to set that aside, and we're going to start with the stamping. So I'm going to get my foam mat out and some scratch white paper. I'm hoping this is the right size. All right, so we got some scratch white paper. We're gonna stamp Happy and Day using Misty Moonlight. So we're just gonna ink that up. And this doesn't have to be perfect because we're gonna cut off the edges anyways. Make sure you can see me, but make sure I can see what I'm doing. Happy and Day. that's it for the Misty Moonlight. And then we'll set that aside for now. We are going to heat emboss this scratch paper here that we're going to use. This is Misty Moonlight as well. And we're going to use Versamark, and we're going to use the Father's stamp. And there's two different Fathers. This is the larger of the two that's in the stamp set. So we're going to come in with our Versamark and just get that nice and inked up. Oh, and before we stamp it, I'm going to take my embossing buddy and get rid of all the static from the cardstock. So now we're ready to stamp it. And you can kind of see it creates like a tone on tone when you use Versamark, and that stays wet for a few seconds for us to work with. So we're going to take our white embossing powder and just pour it over that. Tap it off, see if we need a little more. Tap it off. That looks good. There we go. Set that aside. I like to get the powder put back away before I turn on the embossing gun so that I don't have powder going all over my room. So now I'm going to get out the heat embossing gun and I'm going to take that and we're going to, it's going to be just a little bit loud for a minute, but you get to see the magic. If you've never done heat embossing, it's very cool. I'm going to try to get a little closer. I'll tell you when it starts to change. All right, so I'll turn it off for a minute so that hopefully you can see. If you really look at the S and the R and the E, they're very shiny, and these are still very kind of pale because that has not set yet, but the end of it has. So if you keep watching, you'll kind of see it change. That paper gets really hot, so let me switch sides. There we go. Oops, sorry, I just bumped the whole camera. There you go. So, and then when it's done, you've got this nice, like, shiny, raised image. So to that, we're going to use the large banner and a little washi tape to hold it in place. Again, if you're watching, say hi. If you watch on the replay, just let me know you watched on the replay. I'm going to get out our mini cut and emboss machine so that you can hopefully see what I'm doing. I'm going to raise this up a little bit so that you can see what I'm doing. And just going to put down our base plate, put our piece that we're cutting sandwiched in between the two plates. And we're going to just run that through. So there we have the Fathers. And then we're going to use that leaf die from the Petals of Beauty. And we've got a piece of Misty Moonlight cardstock. And we're going to run that through. And you can see you can run it both ways through the machine. And I'm actually going to go back through again because sometimes with these a little more delicate dies, I like to just run it through twice just to make sure everything pops out. All right, I'm going to use my take your pick tool to just punch out the leaf. So we have one that's in Misty Moonlight. Oh man, I Just accidentally ripped it right apart. Got a little heavy-handed there. All right, there we go. And we're gonna run it through with Granny Apple Green. Put it in our sandwich. And we're gonna run it through twice as well. You don't have to do this with most dies. I've just learned as I use some dies, like you just kind of learn which ones might need to run through twice and which ones won't. Move that out of the way. Just use the take your pick tool to try to punch out all these pieces. And to get it off of the die. There we go. Love the take your pick tool. It's definitely one of my favorites. All right, and then now we have our pieces. Like I said, when I started, I actually already ran this piece through the embossing folder. So that is to go on our card front. I've got a piece of Misty Moonlight cardstock that is cut in half, scored in half, and it's a standing fold that I'm going to add some white cardstock on the inside so that you're able to write on it. 5 dots of glue is plenty. Then I'm going to add our embossed piece of Granny Apple Green. Again, just 5 dots. And that piece is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 so that it covers most of it. Then I have a piece of our designer paper from that Painted Illusions designer pack. And it is 4 1/2 by 3 1/4. And I'm just going to adhere that to a piece of Misty Moonlight. Now, isn't the other side really pretty too? My goal is to make a couple more cards using this designer paper so that I can share that with you. All right. And then we're going to add that to our card base. Next, we're going to add our leaves, and I'm just going to use a little bit of this glue on the back side. You just want to be careful not to do too much so that it doesn't seep through. It doesn't take much for it to stick, so a little bit on the Granny Apple Green. I think this is probably the first year in a really long time that I've actually made Mother's Day and Father's Day cards. And I made them early. Like, it's very unusual for me. So, you know, I kind of struggle with both holidays. So, the last couple steps here, we're going to add our sayings. So we're going to start by adding fathers, and I'm using dimensionals for that. One of my favorite embellishments. I probably didn't need that many. Probably just 3 would be sufficient. I'll put that somewhere across here. Then I'm going to take my paper snips and I'm going to create a little banner out of the happy and the day. And you can see they're a little bit bigger than my sample, but I'm honestly okay with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the edging from our dimensionals to cut out some smaller dimensional pieces. So it's kind of like half of a dimensional. And for the happy, I'll put it on the top side and then just set that down. And then for the day, I'll take that half dimensional and put it on the bottom back side of the day. And there we go. Happy Father's Day. Super simple, beautiful colors, honestly. I think beautiful colors for Father's Day. Bring the camera down a little bit so you can get a better view of it. So I hope you enjoyed. Again, if you watched, let me know you watched and let me know what you think. And hopefully you're starting to think about Mother's Day and Father's Day because they're right around the corner. They'll be here before we know it. Anyways, have a good night.